The flames danced wildly, devouring everything in their path. The air was thick with smoke, and the crackling of burning wood sounded like distant thunder. In the middle of the chaos stood Maya, her face streaked with soot and tears, watching helplessly as the only home she had ever known turned to ash. The fire department did everything they could, but it was too late. Everything, her childhood memories, her late father's photos, her mother's embroidered curtains, the old record player that filled the evenings with music, all gone. For the next few days, Maya moved like a ghost, drifting between emergency shelters and hotel lobbies, each place colder and more unfamiliar than the last. She had no energy to speak, to cry, or even to scream. Her mother, Layla, tried to be strong, but Maya could see the cracks behind her eyes. Their home wasn't just a structure, it had been their sanctuary, their proof that they had survived every storm life had thrown at them. And now, it was gone. But tragedy doesn't ask for permission. It arrives uninvited, and when it does, it demands a choice: surrender or rebuild. Maya was 26, a schoolteacher in a tight-knit community that had watched her grow up. The morning after the fire, she returned to her classroom with smoke-scented clothes and an aching heart. The kids didn't know what to say, but they offered her drawings, crude pictures of flowers and houses and smiling stick figures that she clutched like lifelines. One little boy whispered, "I hope you get your happiness back, Miss Maya." And that, somehow, did more to heal her than any insurance check ever could. The process of starting over was brutal. Insurance barely covered a third of the loss. FEMA was slow. Donations came in from neighbors, but they were small: blankets, old furniture, a few kitchen utensils. Maya and her mother rented a one-bedroom apartment in a rundown complex across town. At night, she'd hear arguments through the thin walls, or the heavy footsteps of people stumbling home. It was nothing like the quiet safety of their old home, but it was a roof. Layla picked up extra shifts at the diner, and Maya took on tutoring after hours. The exhaustion was constant, a weight that never lifted, but they pushed forward. Every dollar saved became a brick in their invisible foundation. Maya began journaling at night, not just the things she had lost, but the things she still had: her mother's laughter, her students' affection, her own heartbeat. These were the pieces of her soul the fire hadn't touched. Months passed. Winter came, and with it, a cold that seemed to seep into their bones. But Maya had started volunteering at a local community center, helping kids from low-income families with reading and homework. She found purpose there, something that reminded her she wasn't just surviving, she was still giving, still living. One night, after a particularly hard tutoring session, she came home to find her mother staring at a crumpled envelope. "What is it?" Maya asked, already bracing for bad news. Layla handed it to her, and inside was a letter. An anonymous donor had paid off the rest of their rebuilding expenses. They could start laying the foundation for a new home. Maya collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed not just by relief, but by the realization that they had never truly been alone. Quiet acts of kindness had been surrounding them all along. Rebuilding wasn't quick, and it wasn't smooth. Delays, bad weather, and budgeting stretched the timeline out for nearly a year. But with each wall that rose, Maya felt her hope return. This new house wasn't the same, but in a strange way, it was better. It didn't hold the ghosts of the past, it held the promise of the future. When they moved in, the entire neighborhood came to help. Former students brought books. A retired carpenter donated shelves. Someone even found an old record player at a garage sale and left it on the porch with a note, "For your evenings." That night, Maya and her mother sat on the porch, wrapped in quilts, sipping tea while soft music played through the air. The stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The house still smelled of fresh paint and new beginnings. Maya looked at her mother and whispered, "We rose from the ashes, didn't we?" Layla smiled, her eyes reflecting the porch light. "We did. And we're stronger now because of it." And so they were. Not just survivors. Not just victims of a cruel twist of fate. but warriors of resilience. Proof that even when life burns down everything you've built, it also hands you the hammer and nails to begin again.